What's going on, guys? This is Bradley alongside Zach, and you're listening to the Charm City Sideline podcast. This evening, we are recapping the Ravens' 17-3 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Rams move up to 4-2. Ravens fall to 1-5. So obviously not the start that we were expecting this season. What are your thoughts coming out of this one, Zach?
Well, all I had asked for in our preview was seeing life, and I think we saw it. I think that there was still plays to be made. Turnovers were a big issue, but holding the Rams to 17 points, I know they had Puka out for most of the game, and at least having some drives that ended up even into the red zone, but you just turned it over, I felt good about. Like I can walk away happy knowing the team is putting their best foot forward in most parts. The coaching is getting better. And that might not be a good thing to some people. Maybe some people don't want to hear that. But what's up, Carson? It was a positive note, or at least in a positive direction from what we've seen. It wasn't this 34-point blowout like last week. It was a 14-point game, and you were driving a few times in a chance to win it. And I'm just a little more proud of them than the last couple of weeks that we actually had, the right game plan in total, and just couldn't really execute as players this time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I had the Ravens losing by about 14 and they lost by 14. I just thought the Rams were going to score more and the Ravens were going to score more. I agree with you. Like, shout out to the defense. Like, kind of gave up 10 points because obviously the Zay Flowers fumble gave them really good field position. Even with that said, though, there still are plays where someone's wide open. Like the touchdown that they scored right after Zay Flowers' fumble. There's just I can't remember if it was a tight end or Whittington, just wide open in the flat, like no one's even over there. And that's just not something that we saw really happen with Mike McDonald, especially in his second year here. So that's something to note. And then obviously the pass rush is just terrible. I felt like Stafford got rid of the ball sooner than he almost needed to. A lot of this game, where I feel like last week we saw CJ Stroud just stand there for 5 minutes until someone got open. But this Rams offense is, so into timing and all that I feel like he almost got rid of the ball sooner than he needed to today. The pass rush really didn't do anything. Tavius Robinson broke his foot. So I don't know. Is that a season ending? I don't know how that works. I don't know
something about 7+ weeks. It
Yeah.
depends on how bad it is, I guess.
Okay. So going to be without him for a while, if not the season. That edge room is now Van Noy, Mike Green, and Ojabo. So very thin there. Derrick Henry got going.
Yeah.
Which was good to see. 24 carries, 122 yards, over 5 yards a carry. So I felt like the O-line in the run blocking side of things looked good. Besides, of course, when they couldn't score from the 1 yard line.
Yeah, that is the real sour taste from all of that. That the whole, I'm going to disagree a little bit with Smirkio here. Cooper Rush just wasn't getting, any momentum going. Like the play calling was good. It just was capped by an absolute embarrassing, horrendous goal line kind of situation that we're honestly getting used to. Like that, It's getting inexcusable, and I think it could be something with coaching. It could be, the O-line having back-to-back tush pushes. I mean, tush pushes aren't this all right, we get back up and we're good to go again. It is a full-on massacre at the line of scrimmage to win one of those. So back-to-back, those guys gotta be dead. So I'm hoping that that's just a poor play calling situation, and that they'll learn to, in a game where Derrick Henry is getting almost 6 yards a carry, give him the ball. It's not this complicated. And that still, even past that, it felt like Huntley gave us some life. And in all, that the Ravens did have the look that we expected even last week. But a fight against a team that's good, and because our coaching is usually excellent, and it felt like they showed that this week. I'm a part of the team that was wanting, I'm wanting them to lose as I cheer on and I'm screaming in happiness as
Yeah.
runs for
Yeah.
like big yards. But still, wanting them to lose because it hopefully does open the door even more wide for Harbaugh exit. But even today, he said in the press conference that he's not expecting to make any coaching changes. So whether that is, the injuries kind of giving them a bailout, or if it's just maybe just an inept coaching and group that won't make that decision. But we'll see. That's a good question from Prime. What do you think?
Yeah, that's like something you see in Madden a lot where you'll blitz just like one or two people and hope that the quarterback makes a bad decision. But I feel like Stafford is too smart for that. And he kind of just sat back there and had the nice pass to Kyron Williams, who made a great catch. In terms of offense today, the Ravens got to the Rams 15, 27, and 1 with 0 points on those 3 combined drives. So
oh my,
that should be at least 13. You score a touchdown when you're on the 1 and maybe 2 field goals there.
Yeah.
Like this game should have been close at the end in terms of
like a
the
one-score
Ravens
game.
offense, actually capitalizing on their chances. So obviously that sucked. Cooper Rush obviously was not good. 72 yards, 11 for 19, and a pick. Under 4 yards an attempt, 44 passer rating. So really bad day for Rush. Huntley came in, was 10 for 15, but just 68 yards. Obviously had a couple scrambles. Definitely provided a bit of a spark, even though they never scored with him in there. Zay Flowers continues to lead the Ravens in receiving, just 46 yards today. Obviously the 2 fumbles, which was not good. It was kind of funny. His first fumble was one of the very few times where he's dancing around and it's actually working. Like he got maybe 8 to 10 more yards.
Yeah, for sure.
And if he didn't dance around everywhere and then he just fumbles in the open field. Obviously, Tom Brady talking about there's just too many guys around him. You got to have 2 hands on the ball when you're doing things like that. So that sucked. It's just like this whole team is playing poorly right now, in my opinion. Like mistake after mistake after mistake. Like this was such a classic Ravens playoff loss today. Like so many opportunities and just can't capitalize. And that really falls on coaching to me. The look on Harbaugh's face after they didn't score from the 1 yard line kind of just tells you everything. Like it felt like he was in complete disbelief. Like, I don't know, man. There's been multiple times this year where I'm like, just give it to Henry 4 times in a row. If it doesn't work, like, I'm not going to be mad. Like, that's fine. They haven't done it yet. They haven't given it to Henry 4 times in a row yet. So, I don't know, man. It's just so many questionable coaching decisions every game.
Yeah, and even this one, I felt like the game plan was there. It just wasn't executed well. They did have lapses, though, like you said, with many calls that were kind of questionable, and there was a lot of penalties too. They kind of kept kicking themselves on drives that started to look good or big plays that looked good, and then 5-yard false start. They even got the Rams a couple times with those hard counts. I loved that. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I'm not totally sure we can fully point the blame at the coaches this time. I feel like you would have been so happy to allow 17 points from the Rams, even if 7 of them were given away from a turnover. You would have been happy, and the Ravens just unable to do anything offensively and stick to a game plan that was working. So you had Derrick Henry running very well. Starting the second half, one of their first drives, they just kept they started out with play action. They were trying to do something fancy with rush and just didn't work out.
Mhm.
And I just felt that there was not a urgency in a way that even when you run the ball and all that time goes off the clock, one scoring drive would have worked miracles for this team. Just to see one go through the hoop, see one go into the end zone, and then maybe the defense goes back out there and plays with a little more effort. So
Mhm.
there was moments where I thought the players were doing okay, but the turnovers kind of, break that kind of promise almost, where you think about someone like Zay and how much we've counted on him and how clutch he's been all year, and then having two major turnovers. You just don't expect that from a star player. And like you said, it felt like a playoff kind of loss for us in that kind of way. But we still had a spark from Huntley that I was very pumped up about. I was having a real fun time cheering him on.
Yeah, watching Tyler Huntley take off and run, especially was it 4th down, was cool to see.
Yeah, I
It
was so happy.
it just feels like when Tyler Huntley's playing, it just feels like everyone is more amped up and playing with more effort. I don't know why, but it just feels like everyone is playing a little harder when Tyler Huntley's in the game. And I really felt like that in 2021 and 2022 when he had to play. I felt like Trent Simpson was solid today. He had a pass breakup, half a sack. Him and Buchanan split a sack together today. They combined for 18 tackles. Obviously, John Jenkins had the strip sack and recovery,
That was awesome.
where I was like, "Get up, get up, get up!" Like he didn't realize he could still get up and run, and he did get up and got it. Maybe 10 more yards there. That was really cool to see. Ravens' first turnover against an opponent other than the Browns since Christmas Day last year. Um, but I mentioned it earlier, 0 for 3 in the red zone, 80 yards of penalties. I mean, to me, this is coaching. This is coaching issues to me. Like, I understand they're turning the ball over, and John Harbaugh can't control the ball staying in a player's arms, but at the end of the day, this just continues to happen. Um, I mean, obviously, a lot more blame goes on the offensive side of the ball today. Only 117 yards passing, 3.1 yards per pass. I mean, that is diabolical right there.
But you still outgained the Rams in total, right? Like total
Yeah,
yards?
296 to 241. It's really just the turnovers, 3 turnovers to 1 turnover. You're not going to win a game if you lose the turnover battle. Time of possession for the Ravens was 38 minutes.
Yeah, they
We
ran a
talked
lot.
we've talked about the Ravens defense is on the field too much, and definitely flipped today. I mean, they played well. I felt like Marlon also played pretty well coming back from the injury. Kyle Hamilton made a few plays down in the box. I felt Gilman looked solid. Um, Offense just could not do a single thing today. Besides run the ball, they did run the ball well.
Yeah. And in a game plan that was hopefully Cooper Rush just keeps dinking and dunking all the way, and Henry carries us on the run game. It was there. It had a chance. And I think they were missing out on a couple of those big chunk plays that Huntley could have given you even early in the game. Like we mentioned in the preview, using him as a gadget or an option type of guy and let the offense look a little different and kind of spook the Rams in a little bit more ways. They got the yards in total for this game to be successful. It just wasn't enough when you keep turning the ball over, and that sucks. I don't think it's, again, if I'm a coach and I think about how successful the Ravens honestly have been with a tush push too, that whole goal line situation, like it is a real question about play calling versus just player effort and maybe just endurance, I guess, conditioning, everything. Because like, yeah, I'm on your side, Brad. I would want to hand it to Derrick Henry 4 times in a row. They did it, I believe, the first time, right? And then
Yeah.
the 2 others not
Well,
with tush pushes. So
because the first time I believe he took them from the 5 to the 1, and then they ran 2 tush pushes. Like, I felt like it was very obvious there. Derrick Henry takes you from the 5 to the 1. He kind of plows through there. I felt like you just do that one more time, he's probably punching in. But I guess not.
Yeah, it feels obvious, and to do the in a way, I will say it's the cute play that we kept getting
Mhm.
angry about over the last year or so, along with the one Zay fumble. It was
The jet
what was
sweep?
it? Yeah, and
Yeah.
he ends up fumbling. We don't need to be doing that kind of thing. Sure, we want Zay with the ball, but like it just felt like they got cued a couple of times, and it really keeps biting them. And whenever we do that, even in situations where we in the past have done those kind of, I call them cute, when we're trying to get special and get a little fancy or misdirection, whatever. When
Mhm.
have they actually worked? It doesn't feel like they happen at all.
Mhm.
So why do it? Be the the like we had talked about in the preview again. Be the Titans team that says Derrick Henry 30 carries today.
Yeah.
Get ready. I don't care how many times, what the score is, you're getting 30 carries. Why weren't all the chips pushed into the middle on that when he has a game and the O-line blocks that well?
Mhm.
It was so frustrating to see that. And even couple it with the fact that you do end up giving it to Henry on the last one. That was too obvious. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, you're not going to tush push it a third freaking time.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it was a lot of blame for those two just kind of killing, like as in play calling and as in player effort. Um, that it was just sad to see the Ravens go down this way, but still hopeful for um, the ability to bounce back. I mean, when we talked about getting some of those big names back, I think a few of them did leave, Humphrey and Stanley. I don't know what their designation is
Yeah.
or any news on them, but um, it felt like it was trending in the right direction. And I would be happy with that. It's going to make the rest of the season like super um, adrenaline heavy, like confidence heavy, how
Mhm.
we turn it around, especially after a bye. I know Charles just asked, are we going to make a move or are we punting on the season? Like, Brad, you would think that they would make a trade if we're going to be all in on the season, right? You can't not make a move
I think
and say that you're going to continue on, right?
even if they're not all in on the season, they have to go get an edge. Like,
Now you have to.
they have to. Even
But,
like,
but you're saying like free agent almost.
yeah, like you got to get someone or make a trade for someone that you send a 5th or a 6th round pick for. Like, they don't have enough edge rushers right now. Like, they just don't.
Yeah, giving up Owe like just looks absolutely airheaded right now. Like I don't care how bad or good he was doing before, and the help in the secondary helps, but like that didn't seem like a great amount of compensation for an Owe whenever now our edge room is like literally nothing. I mean, that's confusing now. Like I feel bad about getting rid of Owe and then also turning a pick that we basically got for Owe into a different guy. Is that what we're doing?
I guess. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We weren't going to retain OA anyway, and
True.
this season, I'm not going to say the season's cooked, but like, and then just another thing is like, I do think the run blocking, like I said today, was solid, but still, Falele is like lying on his back sometimes. Like I think Derrick Henry's final run when they got stopped at the goal line, like Falele's just lying on the ground. Like that should not be happening. And Note Boom has been terrible. Like that signing was I thought it was a good signing when they signed him. I felt like he's been a nice swing tackle the past couple of years. He's been like awful filling in for Stanley. Hopefully Stanley can get fully healthy after the bye. I don't understand why he keeps playing. Like he's not healthy. He keeps getting re-injured during these games. I don't understand why he continues to play. Hopefully he can be fully healthy after the bye. Um, I think the Ravens should make a heavy investment into left tackle this offseason. Like he's not he doesn't play 17 games. So that's another thing. Uh this is sort of what Zach and I were expecting today. I mean, I predicted a 14-point loss. I think you were around there too.
Yeah, I think it was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, so we're not really positive or negative, I guess.
I had good thoughts on both though.
Yeah, like this. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, like the season's not over. Like they can win. They're gonna have to go 9-2 in their final 11 with Lamar. Um, I'd probably predict they go 7-4 or 8-3. Um, but you never know. So season's definitely not over. Um, I don't know. I don't really know what else they can do because I agree that I don't think it's a good idea to sort of go all in on this season right now. Um, I also think we've talked about this. If you can trade for a Kayvon Thibodeau or a Quinnen Williams, I mean, the Jets are 0-6 now. You can trade for a Quinnen Williams and have him here for the next 2 or 3, 4 years. That's perfectly fine because they obviously need all the help they can get for the future on this D line. But do not make a move where some guy's only under contract for one more season,
Yeah.
obviously. But if they make a trade for the future, if they sort of use the trade deadline to make an acquisition for the future, I think that's a good move.
Yeah, Nate's asking, get us someone on O-line, dear God.
Yeah.
Like there isn't any moves to be made there. Like teams won't give up a starter. It's kind of miserable when we talk about the O-line because our hands are almost tied, like fully. The most you can do is try stuff. And if it is by the Ravens kind of logic right now, they're looking at practices to determine who really is the best. I think Harbaugh's been quoted saying something like that, where it gets to a practice and they see they go against Cleveland, go against Kenyon Green, and see that that's really not the best available guy to be playing. And we're begging for it. And maybe an Emory Jones now can help out post by. There's still some options on this team to try stuff, but if they're really not seeing any distance or change at linemen right now, I don't think that we're going to see any in the future, and we might just be stuck. Like Lamar might have to be the reason that the O-line, quote, gets better. So that might be our only hope, especially after today. You knew what was going to happen with Cooper Rush. He's not going to be this mobile guy. He was going to be the pocket and statue guy, and still the rushing offense excelled. It played a great game, almost 200 yards rushing. That is what we want, and that's all we could ask for. Honestly, if you had told me that stats, I would have told you it was probably a one-score game. So I feel like we would be happy with that, and especially going into a week where it's now the pressure of a playoff game mid-year, where I think someone even said, like, do we lose? If we lose, do we sell hard? Charles did at the deadline. Like, it really does bear those level of questions. It bears the question of, does the coaching staff stay like any longer? Like, how much weight is put on you before you actually break as the Ravens organization for this season? And I think that game is all this Ravens team could bear. Like, you would see a full, totally different team, hopefully besides Lamar and a few other stars. But man, it feels like that game and losing it would be a full roster flip, organization flip, I think. But I'm with all of you guys hoping that we win and the season stays alive. But you're asking a lot of a 1-5 team, and 1-6 would basically be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. After the bye, so not until October 26th, 14 days from today, is the Ravens' next game against the Bears in Baltimore. And like you said, if they lose that game, the season's basically over. And then 4 days after that, they got to go down to Miami and play on Thursday night. So coming out after the bye, they'll play on October 26th and October 30th, and they got to win both of them to keep the season alive and get to 3-5. And if they do win both of them and get to 3-5, then you're looking at a team that's going to be trying to make the playoffs. So obviously a lot needs to go into this bye week. I believe 4 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after starting 1-5. The 2012 Commanders, then Redskins, 2015 Chiefs, 2018 Colts, and 2020 Washington football team are the 4 teams that have made the playoffs after starting 1-5. So it's obviously possible. It's not like it's never been done.
True.
But it's going to be tough, especially now with Tavius breaking his foot and Owe being out of the building. We'll see. We'll see if the Ravens are the best 1-5 team to ever exist. Because, like I said, there have been teams that have turned it around. The Colts ended up going 10-6 and won their division after starting 1-5 with Andrew Luck back in 2018. So we'll see if the Ravens can do that. Obviously, I don't think we'd be surprised really either way. Comment from Charles Atkinson. I hope we either win both or lose both. We just don't want to get stuck in the middle. If we can't make a playoff push, let's punt and get a top 10 pick. I agree.
They probably will. Yeah.
Like beating the Bears and then losing to the Dolphins is like worst case scenario. So
yeah,
I fully agree.
I love the attitude from Smirkio's comment here. These next 11 games aren't tough, and if we get Lamar back, we could be 11-6 or 10-7. As bluntly as I can put this, like, I don't think the Ravens or any of us are in any position to call any of these next 11 games technically tough. Like, past these next 3 now, Chicago, Miami, and Minnesota are all competent, middle of the ground, like middle of the league. We're not even near the middle at the moment, y'all. Like, we have to have a real reality check about where this team is, and especially putting all of our weight on Lamar for this week 8. Like, I'm not trying to be negative, but the light at the end of the tunnel, like I keep referencing, is just dimmer and dimmer. Sure, today we showed life. I'm proud of this team, and it was, nowhere near the loss we had kind of expected. But especially with some of the injuries and all, but it all weighs on how this team adjusts fully going into the bye, and it's going to have massive implications for the future of this franchise, even for these next couple weeks. And that's a lot to say, but it's true.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's obviously going to be a playoff game almost every single week coming out after the bye. I don't think I have anything else to add. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. If you haven't liked the video, you should. If you haven't subscribed, you should. We're going to be doing a Q&A and a preview later this week. Q&A probably like Tuesday.
No preview.
Oh, that's true. No preview. Crap. Yeah, we get a week off. Enjoy your week off. Enjoy your week off. We deserve it too.
But we will do a Q&A this week.
Yeah, it's going to be I think you referenced it as a philosophical
Q&A.
Yes, there you go. So we'll be having some deep talks. Oh, thank you, Nate, for this comment. Join the Discord. It's free. It's in the description. You can join. It's talking Ravens ball and crying about these games the whole time. We were talking about it live, like reacting to everything. So if you want to be a part of it, come through and support the channel with us.
For sure. We appreciate you guys all for being here. Like we said, we will be back live with the Q&A at some point this week. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.